Binging can be a horrible thing. Getting to low body fats is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and obviously because I've done so many diets since I started nearly 10 years ago, I have had experiences with binging. The typical bro diet, the shake diet, the keto diet, and even when I was super lean, especially coming out of shows, I've experienced a form of binging. If you've clicked on this videos, you might have experienced some form of binging, or sometimes you get to the evening or the weekend and you can't control yourself. You start going for your snacks and your favorite foods, but then swiftly after you feel very, very disgusted. There are a few things you can do to overcome binging, and hopefully by the end of this video, some of the things I mention will help you identify where you are going wrong and what positive habits can you introduce in order to eliminate or improve your binging. Binges can happen for many different reasons. Something could trigger you off, and by the time you know it, you cannot stop yourself. First of all, number one reason why people may start binging is simply because their calories are way too low in the first place. As soon as I start with certain clients, I get them on a diet plan. I work out their calories and macros, how much they need to lose body fat. And the common thing that I see from all of these clients is that they always say, wow, this seems like a lot of food. As I replace their current diet, I start putting in foods that are very high quality foods, low calorie dense foods. So that is why they think, wow, this is a lot of volume in my plan. They're probably, first of all, used to eating high calorie food. A lot of people will not eat a lot of good quality food, but also they will not eat a lot of food throughout the day, which can be a massive mistake. Someone who usually binges is usually at night. You don't really hear someone binging first thing in the morning. So this will result in them waking up in the morning feeling bloated, disgusting. So people will tend not to eat much throughout the day. You want to have your most fuel throughout the day, so you want to wake up and have a substantial amount of food. I know technically calories in, calories out, you don't have to have a first meal of the day. You can long it out and wait for lunch. I prefer to start the day with a good breakfast, a good first meal, because I'm more active in the morning. And also when I have more for breakfast and lunch, I've got more energy for my workout and for my daily routine. That's just me, because I prefer to have something lighter for dinner and then a light snack in the evening. If you have a substantial amount of food in the morning and afternoon, good quality food that's going to keep you full, you will get to the evening and you won't feel as hungry getting into the evening. So it may help with those binges. And that is the number one problem I have with certain clients, where it's convincing them to eat more throughout the day. The next thing that can help massively if you are having binges is replacing all of your food with high quality, low calorie dense foods. I always make sure my 3 main meals are packed full of protein, and this is the main macronutrient that will keep you fuller for longer. If your meal is not high in protein, just having carbohydrates, just a bowl of cereals, a bowl of pasta, it will not fill you up. You always got to have a substantial amount of protein with that meal. I guarantee you volumize your food, you will feel so much fuller, and this is a good thing if you do have those sudden urges to binge. Something like potato is lower calorie than rice and pasta, which means you get more volume. So when I was dieting, I replaced pretty much everything with potato. I did have rice because I did feel full with rice, but potato is the one that's going to keep you fuller than rice and pasta and bread. So I challenge you to have 3 bigger main meals throughout the day, and that is going to go a long way. Breakfast, lunch and dinner, high quality food, low calorie dense food to fill you up. You're going to feel a lot different. My next point that follows on from not having a proper structure is that most people, instead of having high quality good meals, 3 main meals a day, a lot of people will snack. They will graze throughout the day. They won't have any structure. Some people may not realize that a bag of nuts will be a much higher calories than, say, if they had a meal that was chicken, rice and stir-fry veg. Some people do not realize the snacks they are grazing throughout the day, first of all, they're not satisfying you, so you're not actually getting full and feeling satisfied, and it's just making you more hungry and more likely going for crap food and even more snacks to try and fill you up than if you were going to have a meal. Now, there can be another thing that may be triggering your binges. Is that so many people, when they want to lose body fat or weight, they go and they try that next fad diet, that next quick thing that is like a 30-day blitz, whether it's the keto diet, a shake diet, Herbalife, don't talk to me about that, low carb to no carb. You may see something that's like, oh wow, I could lose a lot of weight on that, but trust me, it's probably doing more damage than good. When I first started in the fitness industry, I was on an extreme clean food diet. I cut out all the foods I loved. I did whatever it took to get into shape for my first comp. Yes, it was a bit different because I thought I'm just going to stick to it because I'm going to go on stage. But this took quite a quick turn after I came out of my show. Now, even though this worked in the short term for getting me into condition, soon after my comp, when I had access to all this food, I wasn't going on stage. When I started introducing foods back into my diet that I did love, I couldn't stop myself, and this caused me massive binges. So that is why flexible diet for me is the best diet, because you kind of learn how your body works. You keep the foods that you do love to an extent in your diet, as long as you're hitting those high quality, low calorie dense foods, and nothing is off limits per se. So you don't get to the weekend, you're like, oh man, I need a blowout. Think of it like sustainable, long lasting results. Lack of sleep plays a huge role in hunger levels, and this can be one of the reasons or a factor if someone binges. Lack of sleep is a recipe to a disaster if you're somewhat trained and also is trying to eat healthy. First of all, if you are sleep deprived, you will be much more fatigued, which means you're less likely to get your steps or even push sufficient weight at the gym. And one studies for men found that after 1 week of sleep deprivation, testosterone dropped between 10 to 15%. And to put that into context, an average male who's 30 and above, like myself, if you do not train, men will tend to lose about 1% per year of testosterone, unless you go to the damn gym. On to my next point on why you may binge. This is quite a personal one, so listen up. Now you have to ask yourself the question, what is your life like? What is your relationship like with your friends, family, your spouse? Now this can be a big one, because if you are not happy for one reason or another in your life and you're trying to hide it and forget about it, usually binges can happen. For instance, when I was with my ex, after my show, for some reason I know that the relationship wasn't going too well and I knew that it was ending. And the thing is, I tried to block it out. And for some reason I was getting binges, and I was like, why am I binging? I've used flexible diet, I've come out of my show and I couldn't stop eating. And then I quickly realized is that I needed to end that relationship. It was a very hard conclusion for me to come across and go through with it. But when it happened, I kid you not, she moved out and I had no binges. I got myself in order. I spent good time around family and friends. I got myself properly back on the gym and my food back on point. And I was like, wow, I have not binged once. All I'm asking for you is look at your life. Is there something on your mind? Is there something you're trying to dig under the rug that you don't want to admit? And I'll be honest, that is usually a massive reason. And I've seen it from loads of people, loads of clients I've met over the years. These are just some of the reasons why you may binge. Sometimes it can just be down to you don't have a coach to stay accountable to. You're just plodding along. Sometimes it's literally down to that you need accountability in your life. When I had a coach, I had someone there telling me what to do, how much to eat, what my training was like. And every week when I was staying accountable and checking in with them, I wanted to make sure I didn't disappoint them. So if you do click in the link below, it will bring you to the Discipline website. And maybe it's time for you to work with someone like myself for a period of time to get you to where you need to be. And everything I've done in my life, I've had terrible coaches and I've had amazing coaches. But I've always said to myself, if there's something you want in life, someone has done it. That's what people don't get. So as soon as I started in the fitness industry, I was like, instead of me guessing, let me pay for someone. Let me invest the little money I am getting at the start of my career, and let me invest it into someone else to teach me. But if you're a gamer like me as well, and you're like, nah, but I stay up all night playing games. You know what I'm like? Some of you may know this, that I'd rather get up earlier to then play games, have my water, have my coffee. So I tend to go to bed around 10:30, 11, sometimes a bit later on the weekends. I will never stay up past 11 playing games because I'd rather get up early, have a good night's sleep, and then I'd just play a little bit in the morning with my coffee. Watch out for future videos, and I'll see you soon.